So this is a review of the Spectrapure 180 gallon per day CSPDI with manual membrane flush. So this is for purifying water for my aquariums. I use it for a reef aquarium and also for replacement of water on freshwater aquariums when I'm not changing the water, and if I'm just replacing evaporative loss. So this replaces this unit, which is also a Spectrapure unit. Originally, when I got the old one, it was not this, that's just a tap water purifier, but the carbon component and the membrane, RO membrane component there is what I initially got, and then I added this sediment filter because the carbon block kept on getting clogged up, and that helped protect the carbon block. But this thing's 12 years old. The output was beginning to slow up. I thought it was time maybe I should change the membrane, and I thought, let me check out my options, because if I had to replace everything, I thought maybe I'll just get a whole new unit. So that's what I did, and so this is the new unit, and it's also a 4-stage filter. So the water from the sink goes here. They provide a stop valve here that you can put in line, so even though the faucet is turned on, I can turn off the intake of water here if I want. It goes into the sediment filter here, then it goes into the carbon filter here, and then it goes from there up into the reverse osmosis filters. Now there are actually 2 membranes here, and that's what makes it the 180 gallon per day rather than 90 gallon per day unit, which is similar to this, except that it only has 1 reverse osmosis membrane. You have a pressure gauge up here, and you can see I'm currently running at 50 pounds per square inch from my faucet. It's interesting that the faucet was actually registering 55 on this unit. I don't know if it's because there are 2 filters here or whatever, but in any case, it's enough pressure from the faucet. I don't feel the need to purchase a booster pump, which is also available if you want to boost it up to 60 pounds per square inch pressure. You'll get probably a little faster output, but for my needs, this is already overkill. So the wastewater comes out this yellow tubing. You can see I've got it running into the sink. You can see the rate at which the water is coming out there. It's a pretty steady flow there. And then compared to this is the product water speed, and that is multiple times faster than what was going on previously. I mean, this reserve bucket is going to fill up in no time at that rate. It's, you know, before it would take me at least 24 hours to fill up this 30-gallon trash can. And now I haven't timed it yet. This is the first real run I'm using on this thing, and it's going to fill fast. So looks like they supplied a spare restrictor tubing. It's important that a restrictor tubing be paired with your RO unit membrane so that the right amount of flow goes in there. If you don't have enough, it doesn't work. The reverse osmosis membrane doesn't work or doesn't work well. If you have too much pressure, then that's no good either. So you want to keep it right around 60, give or take. So, but they'll tolerate down to 40. Now, they supply this thing here, which also comes with it. I haven't installed it yet, but I'm going to. Essentially, it's a float valve. And what I'll do, it's got its own little bulkhead here. And I will just drill a little hole in the top of here so that when the water level comes up, then that will shut this outflow off and keep it from flooding. And just as an FYI, I do keep a water alarm here under the sink just in case something goes wrong and water does hit the floor. I'll know about it before I can have fish swimming in my basement. Alright, so one really cool thing here is this meter. It's triple total dissolved solid monitor. Now the one I had before was fine, but that just checked what was coming out and of the product line. And that was after all the filters, including the reverse osmosis and the deionizing filters. With this, I get to, if I pull it all the way to the left, I can see what's going in. Right now it's 46. Let's turn this on again. So it's 46. Then if you want to know what's coming out after it goes through the reverse osmosis filter, you flip it to line 2, and you can see that's dropped it down to 1. And then if I go to see what's coming out the final product line after the deionizing filter, it's 0. So if any of these filters, like if the I can tell independently which of the filters is failing. So if the reverse osmosis is still 1, but it's still 1 coming out of here, then I know this deionizing filter is shot and it's time to replace it. If it's coming out 0 from the line, but this has gone up to 2 or 3 or whatever, then I know my membranes aren't working right. And one way to help fix that situation, well, I'm not going to do it now, but this thing folds up. These two canisters kind of are hinged and rotate up, and behind it is another valve, something like this. And when you turn that valve, it then is a manual flush valve for the reverse osmosis membranes. And you can flush them out, and that will extend the life of the membranes. As it is right now, given the rate of use I do here, I think this unit will probably outlive me as far as the reverse osmosis membranes. And I'll probably just have to change the sediment, the carbon, and the deionizing filters periodically as they, become clogged or used up. But I think these reverse osmosis membranes are going to last a really long time. And I'm basing that based on my experience with this thing, which was still going after 12 years. The pressure had dropped down to around 40, and well, what happened with that was my sediment filter, you can see it's just clogged with gunk and slime and everything. And that was what was the problem with that one. So I think I've covered the basics here. It's nice to be able to hang this thing on the wall. You see this little metal bracket here. So I just took a 2x3 piece of lumber and got some concrete anchors here to put that on the wall so I could put some screws and hang the bracket for the Spectrapure unit on the wall. And now, before, you can see how much space this unit takes off on this little work table here. And now I'm going to be selling that unit, the old one, and I've got my entire table cleared off now because it's hanging on the wall. So this is much more convenient. So between the ability to monitor each unit independently with the triple TDS meter, with the shutoff valve, it just makes this whole thing a whole lot more convenient. I guess the one thing it won't do is it's not going to turn off the tap water or turn off this valve, which is the supply valve to the unit. So water will still be going through it, but at least it won't overflow the bucket. The excess water will just go down the drain. So I hope you found this review of the Spectrapure 180 gallon per day unit useful. Thanks.